Alright, well, hello family and friends. Been a while since I posted any videos, so just about a couple of months now, I guess. It was sometime in January when I posted last, but not much going on really. Still was not much to film besides just getting wood, cutting wood. Same old, so to speak. So today I'm gonna, it's what is it, third week in March now? Third, second, I don't even know. Second, about middle of March. Anyway, so the plan is it's kind of cold and windy out today, so I figured I can work on the four-wheeler and on the side-by-side, change the oil, grease things up, do stuff like that. So I got them both in here. I'm gonna work on the four-wheeler first, then once I get it done I'll bring this one back to the shed. I want to have it done because I want to bring it out to the cabin. It's the usual skunk season out there, so I have a few skunks showing up. So I want to have a four-wheeler out there. I want to set up some traps, which I might do this weekend yet. I won't bring the four-wheeler out there till next weekend, but I want to have it all done for the season and possibly just leave it out there once I'm done. And then, because I have two brush piles I still want to burn out there, a small one and one that's a little bit bigger. If you remember from last summer when I was cleaning up some of those dead trees, there's two trees I still have to cut down and add to that pile before I burn it. And all this stuff I gotta get done here pretty soon because yeah, we lost a lot of snow. Well, there's hardly any snow out there now. The temps today are gonna be only in the 20s, so it's not gonna thaw anymore, and there's not much to thaw, but there's a little bit of snow here and there, but for the most part it's gone. So I'd like to burn those piles before we really get into fire season. Another problem we had here a couple of weeks ago, as you can tell, I mean, if you've been watching the videos, we used to have a grain bin on that trailer. Well, the grain bin is now over there. We had a really strong weekend with strong winds, and it tipped that bin right off that trailer. So what I did, actually, I dragged it from over there with the tractor all the way to behind the shed, so it doesn't get tossed around and blown around out in the open. So the bottom two lines of rings kind of got bent up and damaged, so it's not going to be an enclosed grain bin anymore. I guess we're going to have to do a gazebo out of it where we can hopefully keep the top 2 or 3 rings and go from there, but we'll see. That's a different project for a different day. But so that happened since I posted last. Yeah, otherwise, as you can see, it's pretty, yeah, not much for snow out there. So but yeah, I want to do that, get these done, change the oil, grease it all up, get this one done today, and then hopefully tomorrow I'll load it up and bring it out to the cabin and set up a trap for those skunks. So we might see that in this video yet, hopefully, if everything goes okay. Okay, so I wanted to show you what we're working on here. So for me to get the oil is easy to drop on the bottom, it's no problem, but this is where the oil filter is. It's this 3 8mm nuts, I mean bolts, whatever you call them. You got to get out of there, and to get to that I have to take the wheel off and actually pull this plastic so I can really get to it a lot easier on this side. So that's what I figured out the last couple of years. Before, I used to take pretty much this whole thing off, and to do that you got to take a bunch of other bolts off, and oh man, it was a lot harder. So this actually works out pretty slick. So yeah, that filter is the hardest part to do on this machine. It's just, I'm not sure why the engineers did this, but of course, a lot of people just take their machines in to get serviced at the dealer, and dealers are laughing about it. But so yeah, I'm gonna drop the oil, drop the filter, and do all that, and then I just have to grease up all the stuff down there and up there, and kind of clean it up a little bit. Everything else seems to be okay. I usually check the front diff, like over here. I'll take that out. I don't have to change it. I changed it last year, so this year I'll just I'll just check to make sure I have enough fluid in there. I didn't use this wheeler that much last year. I mostly used it for working on food plots and whatnot, but otherwise we put a lot more miles on this baby. So, and this one, and of course we had the Defender to start the year, so we put some miles on the Defender, and then once we got the Commander here, and we put up like 1,000 miles on this one since last, let's see, August. Yeah, August, September, and half of October. So yeah, we put 1,000 miles on the baby. But this one sat around a lot, so differential should be okay. The back one is the same with the transmission. So as long as the tranny oil is fine, I'm gonna check that too, and everything should be fine. So that is the project, man. Yeah, so I picked up this oil change kit. This is for the side-by-side. It's fully synthetic and whatnot. Comes with the oil and the filter and everything. And then for the four-wheeler, I just had to pick up a filter because I actually do have three jugs of oil, so I didn't have to buy any oil, which is kind of nice. So I'll just use that, put that in there. So that saved us a few bucks. Now this oil change kit is about $70 some for that, and just the filter was like 15 bucks. So yeah, it was about 90 some bucks, with $90 some with tax and whatnot. So, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So, all right, well, I'll drop the oil and we'll go from there. Okay, so I dropped the oil, and then usually I look at this thing has that magnet in the middle. Just making sure there's no metal shavings or nothing like that going on in there, and I didn't see nothing, so that's awesome. That means the engine is working like it's supposed to. There's no problems as far as that goes. I'm not sure if this comes with it doesn't come with the extra on it. I was hoping it comes with the extra washer, but I mean, this one is not bad. It's just the kit comes with the washers and everything, so if you just get the filter, I guess you don't get these with it. That's one downside, I guess. But okay, well, let's have to install the same washer, I guess. Okay. Okay, so the oil, actually, it looks pretty dirty, pretty black and whatnot, so yeah, that's probably a good idea we changed it. And of course, besides putting the filter in a goofy spot, when you drop the oil, half the oil goes under the shield on the bottom. So thank you, engineers, for being, again, awesome at designing things. Let's see here. Oopsie. Yeah, this is all kinds of crooked. But yeah, it's over here. I have some branches and stuff sticking out of the hole, but yeah. See how it drips all over the freaking place? So yeah, not that smart, but it is what it is. I'm gonna let it drip out some more, and then I'll try to stick my hand in there in the reg and wipe out as much as I can, because of course with the oil, the more it sits there, it's gonna get all kinds of dirt and dust and stuff built up, and of course it can be a fire danger. We ever use this, like the spring, I might have to burn this field around us, because this is the last year of the program that the land was in, and because it hasn't been mowed or hayed or nothing for the last 4 years, now we have so much small brush coming up that it actually can't even be hayed for cows or nothing. We would have to mow it, the whole 35 acres, or we'd have to burn it, and burning would be my first option. But of course we're gonna have to have the four-wheeler home for that task and whatnot. So I want to make sure while I'm doing this to have the barn as clean as possible, in case I end up running around close to the fire. So I don't want to have oil, none of that stuff underneath there that can start a fire and burn the machine now. Yeah, good stuff. So I'm gonna let it drip out some more, and I'm gonna get my tools ready here. I need actually so these are the tools. I believe it's 8. It's I want to say it's a T8 I need to get to that stuff. I don't know, I'll have to find the right one here. I don't remember if it was an 8. The 8 is too small, so I don't think it's an 8. But it's one of these over here. I need to get to the filter cover and take it off. So that's next in the project, man. Alright, let's see what we need here. That's pretty close. That's a 30. Seems like 27 fits better. Or I can try. For some reason 8 sticks in my head, so I'm thinking it could be because an 8mm also fits in there. Oh, look at that. Perfect. So I actually need that. The way that is, let's see if we can see it in there. It's hard to get in there, but it's that one right there. So you can do, like I said, the 27 in the inside, or the 8 on the outside. But to me, it seems like the 8 would be the way to go. So, alright, I'll take that off next. So it wasn't too bad. The one that's the hardest is the one that's actually right next to the engine here. Like this one, I needed a long extension. The long extension to be able to get to that one. This one up here was easy to get to. The one, of course, out here was easy to get to, but it's like wide out in the open. I can reach it with my finger, but yeah, the one over here closer to this thing would be you need an extension really to be able, and even then it like barely goes because it kind of touches on the side of the engine here. So, but I got them all 3 loose, so good to go. Alright, so we have the filter out, and there's still some oil leaking, so I'm gonna let it soak up for a little bit there. Kind of making a mess here today, but yeah, this filter is dirty as hell, which I don't know why. Like I said, we didn't use this machine quite that much last year, but it really got dirty, and the oil got dirty, so Anyway, this O-ring looks okay, so I won't have to. Well, I don't have the replacement one because, like I said, if you don't get the oil change kit, you just get the filter. That's all you get is the filter. So you got to reuse the O-ring and reuse the washer for the cap. So that's what we're getting today. But okay, well, I cleaned this whole mess up here, and then we'll go from there. Put everything back together. Now that I kind of showed you how to take it apart, I guess I don't have to show you how to put it back together. Everything is reversed. So, all right, so I'm gonna throw some oil in there. I put everything back together, the filter and the plug. So this one takes, usually I can put two, well, usually I put two in there, then I start up the engine just so the oil circulates through the engine and fills up the filter, and then I'll what I need usually 2.5 quarts is what it takes. So yeah, I'll add that in there. Whoop, there we go. Yeah, you gotta have almost a skinny little funnel for this to work the right way, but it's not too bad. We'll see how the other one goes. That one I haven't changed oil yet, so that's gonna be another challenge if I'll get that done yet today, hopefully. There we go. Whoop. Gotta go kind of slow because it's a long, and it gets super skinny at the end. Alright, number one. I already popped this one open. Number two. I'm gonna put the plug back in and start the engine just to, like I said, oh, there you go. Just to circulate the oil a little bit. There we go. Be enough right there. Put it back in gear. Okay, I'm just gonna check, make sure there's no leaks or nothing. Looks okay. It's not leaking by the filter. Nothing's pouring out down underneath, so we should be in good shape. And then, yeah, just recheck. I'm gonna have to check the oil here to see how we're doing. But usually it takes another 1/2 quart, if I remember correctly. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, yeah, the oil is all good. I checked all that stuff out. While I had this cover off here, we checked, down here is your fluid, your antifreeze and whatnot, so that's good. I checked that. Back in here, we have an air filter. I just twist off and I pull it out. I blew it all out. Last year I brought a new one, and actually it was in pretty good shape. I do have a spare one down there. I didn't need it, actually wasn't too bad, because I try after each ride, or especially longer rides, or if I use it out in the field or whatnot, every other time I fuel it up, I do check the oil, and I pretty much blow out the air filter, so it stays pretty nice and clean that way. And then before I throw the tire back on, I wanted to, well, I can get easier to it, but there's grease certs. This one is a goofy one. This one is on the back side, and of course for that side is on the back side from this way, so I want to cross and grease that one. And then there's this one over here for this side. That's the only two I find over here, so it's not too bad. So I got those two greased up before I throw the tire back on, so it's easier that way. So yeah, that's what I'll do next. I'll throw the tire back on, put it down, and I go around grease the other front side of it. And I think there's 3-4 points in the back too that needs to be greased. And yeah, this machine should be good to go. Alright, well, we got this baby done. I greased everything. There's like I showed you, one across. You got to grease it across to each side, and then one down further. In the back there's actually 3 points you got to grease, and you really have to go underneath it. This one is actually pretty easy, as you can tell, it's right there. So there's one there. There's one on the bottom that you have to actually, yeah, really crawl down and, there we go. Let's see. One of them, yeah, there's one right over there. It's hard to tell from here. And the other one, for this one, let me see if I can get the camera on there. Alright, so for this baby here, you actually have to, that knuckle there has to be greased from the bottom, so you have to crawl underneath and put the grease gun, yeah, kind of upside down or downside up, whatever you want to call it. So those are the 3 points here. That one, and that one over here is pretty easy to get to. It's just pretty much greasing up this knuckle. It's right there. And then the one that's greasing, like I said, it's greasing this joint over here. And that one is pretty easy. It's a pretty straight to get to. So those are the 3 on each side, and yeah. And all I can hear is the air in the struts, so there's no squeakiness, there's no that stuff going on. So both front and end are greased. Check the fluids, check the filter, change the oil. Yeah, she's ready to work. And it sounds like the filter, so the engines are pretty similar looking. Of course, this one is bigger because this is a 1000. Oh shit, I forgot to turn my headlamp off. So yeah, I know a filter I clean all the time, so it's easy to get to. But some videos I've seen, see, and I didn't know that before we put this thing over here. There's a little trap door between the 2 back seats that you can remove to get to the filter, the oil filter, easier. I'm hoping I don't have to do that, because then I gotta take that bag off and all that funky stuff. I'm hoping I'll be able to get to it from back here, like I did on the Defender. So I'm just building up some courage to actually get going on this. I almost want to make sure I can get to that filter before I even drop the oil on this thing. At least give me an idea of how bad it would be. And then I gotta find all the grease spots on this one because I haven't greased it before. I know, I mean, those two are obvious. But just looking around, I did not see much for grease spots. So, of course, this one is built up pretty strong with some pretty heavy hardware. But you would think there should still be places where guys gotta grease it. So I'll do some research and all that stuff before I tear into it. But yeah, of course, this machine is a lot heavier built than this Outlander or than the Defender was. So maybe it's made that way. I don't know. We'll have to see. More to come. The one thing I wanted to say before I put all this stuff away. So to drop the oil, I use an 18 millimeter. For the filter, I used an 8 to take that cover off, like I said. And then, yeah, and actually, I did not add any more oil, so I added the 2 quarts. And after, I didn't want to add more until I actually took it off the jack and put it down level. And when I checked it at level, even after I started and the filter got full of oil, it didn't take no more than 2. So actually 2 quarts is where it's sitting right now, and it's right where you want it to be. So I didn't add any more. I do have half of these. Oh, I have this one full, but I have one of these that's about half full out at the cabin that I keep around for that reason, just so if this machine or the Commander needs it, I have some out there. So I had at one time, what's nice about these machines, they have a little, I call it a trunk, but it's not the trunk, it's just a storage compartment back here that opens up. You can put stuff in there. And at one time I did have one of those jugs in there, and my intention was to put it in a Ziploc bag before I throw it in there, but of course, you know how things go, big plans and a big weekend coming, and so I just throw it in there, whatever. Well, somehow it shook loose, so that whole compartment ended up being just a big mess of oil, and of course the dust builds up in there, and so it wasn't fun to clean that out. So I didn't put one back in there again, because technically I shouldn't need oil in the back of that thing. It's a 2018, so it's not that old and doesn't have that many miles on it, so usually I don't have to add oil really all year long. It stays just fine. So then that's why I decided just to leave a jug at the cabin and have the stuff here at the house, so I don't have to have it in the back compartment. So that's what we do these days. Oh, and for the differential, this is the baby, a TT40. This one that fits up here, the front differential thingy, to check to see how things are going. So yeah, so I unscrewed that, and as soon as I loosened it up, oil started coming out of it, so I knew I have enough in there, so I just shut it back up. And it was nice and clean oil, so I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, TT40, FYI. Well, so okay, I did drop the oil. So for this one, the filter, shit, I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's whoa, well, it's in there. Let's see if I can put this in there so you can see it. It's hard to see, man. But the filter is like right there, 1, 2, and then the third one is right behind this thing. So it's actually, I can reach in there with my hand, so I do not need to pull that shield they're talking about behind the seat. So pretty much, yeah, I can just reach right in there. There it is, there's the cover. So it's not as bad as I thought it could be. A lot of times watching YouTube videos, it's super helpful, and at times I got burned too. That some videos I watched really scared me from actually starting a project, because somebody made it sound like holy moly. In this case, it's not quite that bad. I might scrape my knuckle maybe when I get it's exactly the same one, just like on the Outlander. Is the one that's closer to the motor, the same exact one that I had a little bit of room with that extension on there to get to. That's the only one that's gonna cause problems. The other two, I wish I had more light. Crap. I'm gonna put my headlamp on. Maybe you guys can see it better. I mean, I'm just trying to shed some light on there, pun intended. Here, what about now? Can we see it better? Anyway, there, see, there's the cap. So that's what we're looking at. There's one down further that I can see just fine, but the one, it's like right behind this little thing. Then I'm going to need an extension, and I think the same one I used on the Outlander should work on this thing too. Yeah, and it looks like that thing is doing okay, so no need no liquids. And the on the coolant, I don't need no coolant. And then, so I've been looking at this with the thing up. I don't see no grease points at all. Like nothing, even up in here. I'm trying to look at it, I don't see no grease points at all on this thing. So, yeah, for today, I will grease the two obvious ones in the back that I already showed you. Then I'll do some research in the front there, see what I can see. But I mean, if that's all I gotta do is just change the oil in the filter and grease those two grease certs, I mean, that's easy enough. Well, honestly, this didn't go too bad. Yeah, so that I replaced the filter pretty easy. Once, the biggest thing was, again, just that little bolt that goes in right beside that thing. So when I put it back in, I made sure I put the top one in first, so it was hanging by it. And then I got the challenging one right next to it, so I was able to find a hole and then move it until I found where it goes and just throw it right in. So yeah, once I got that in, it was a piece of cake. So she's all back together. This is the second quart, and this kit comes with 2.5 quarts. So I'm thinking, yeah, it's gotta all go in there. But I'll do the same as I did on Outlander. I'm just gonna finish the second quart, put that thing back on, start the engine, check for leaks, same shebang, and then see what happens. But I did clear out the filter, which is those are the clamps and whatnot. But in order to take it out, we have to remove this housing thing in here. Oop, there's the filter, slides right out. So that's actually, for once, I gotta give an engineer some credit. It pulls right out. You can go change it, clean it, whatever. And it wasn't that bad because I clear it all the time, like I said. And I think before I put this machine away, I did clean the filter, so I didn't have to do really much on that. No sign of mice or anything like that. That's my biggest concern usually this time of the year. Just make sure mice didn't make any nests and whatnot in here. Kind of looked over the wiring and whatnot. I don't see no signs of chewing or rubbing or none of that stuff. I'm a little leery about that kind of stuff because we had, oh man, what year was it? 2013. Yeah, 2013 Polaris Ranger Crew, and that thing was an electrical trap. I mean, holy cow. the harness was so tight on that machine, and all the loops were zip tied shut so close that the vibration of the machine just running pretty much was rubbing the harness off. So then everything started shorting, and oh, so that machine I went from front to back and cut all the zip ties and re kind of zip tied everything looser so they don't rub on each other, they don't rub on the frame. And so ever since then I really keep an eye open for any kinds of wiring issues. And so far this machine I have really nothing to complain about, this one or the Defender. Really, I did the same thing on that one. That one is a 2022. Yeah, that's a 22 model. And we sold that last year. No, that's a 2021 model. We had it for 2 years. So in 2 years we put 4,500 miles on it. And we looked, and I looked, and we had no problems with it at all. And I kept an eye on the same thing, and I had no wiring issues, no issues. I mean, nothing. So the only reason we sold that one is to buy a crew again. And actually my daughter, my oldest one, bought that machine from us because it's been a good machine. So I wanted to make sure she gets a good one, so she has it now. But yeah, that's my biggest thing, wiring, because I had such a problem with that Polaris that one time. So could have been a lemon, or it could be an issue. I have no idea. I didn't research it too bad. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I'll put the cap back on. I'll start the engine. Same thing. Let it run. Fill up the filter. Check the oil level. I have a hunch that we might need that second one, since the 2 quarts and the 850 were like right on. So I'm thinking for the 1000 we might need that half a quart just to make sure it's all good to go. Other than that, yeah, I'll just have to grease this baby up. And I'll, in the back, like I said, I couldn't find nothing, but I'll look in the front and all that stuff and see what we can see. But not bad at all, man. I'm excited. Alright, so got all the wheelers done. Now Dozy and I are going to take the 4-wheeler out to the cabin. It's freaking cold out this morning. It's only in the 20s, and I think with the wind chill we're down to single digits. So it's a little bit cooler than I anticipated, but we will still run the machine out there, so I have it for next weekend like kind of planned. I tried to move one of my trailers that I was going to load this up on, but it was froze to the ground. There was water all around it. I should have moved it out of there when it was in the water, but now of course it's froze down. So yeah, I just loaded it in the back of the pickup instead, which works just fine. So yeah, Sunday fun day. We're gonna go do that quick. We're gonna go get some gas first, and then we run this out there. Otherwise, the Commander, the grease spots paid, just one in the back for each side and one in the front for each side is all I found for grease spots on that thing. So I didn't have time to do more research on it yesterday because I had some people show up at the house right about the time I got done with that. So, but I'll try during the week here, see if I can find any more grease spots on doing my research and see what I can find. But yeah, everything is good to go. So yeah, let's go to the cabin, set up a trap for that skunk, and go from there. Well, it's a little cold out here. I thought this is gonna be froze down, but I guess we got it open. Good enough. So at least I can park this in here.
Somebody did. That was Mr.
I won't be able to set up the trap because yeah, I guess the trap is frozen in the water, so that's not gonna work. So we'll have to wait another week to come back and hopefully set that up. So yeah, I think at this point we'll just head home. There's not much I can do out here today. Man, it's cold. And we'll come back next week, and so we have a small little burn pile back in that corner over there, and then of course we have that big one way over there. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, so we gotta burn that pile down hopefully next week, and then we have a couple of dead ones still I gotta cut down before we do that. So I'll try to film that one next week, but I think we call this a video for today, right, Dozy? So yeah, Dozy and I will head home and call it a weekend. See you guys in the next one.